It's Friday, July 18th. I'm Jim Check with NowMedia, and with me, Andrea Jensen-Berg. We're here with the really big show. Lots to talk about this morning. How are you this morning?
Excellent. And
Excellent.
you?
There you go. So we're going to kick things off. The headlines first. Where is the plan, the list? A new leader making a big mess. Argentinian cuts get a credit upgrade. Colbert gets canceled. And EB finally gets the message. All that and a lot more on the really big show.
All right, let's kick it off with Carney.
Carney, let's hear this clip from Carney. He's going to explain to you what's going on.
Today is about the future of our economies, or our economies, and how we weave them together so that they're stronger together. How we can build a new economy together. An economy that moves from reliance to resilience. We have too much reliance on a certain foreign market. We have too much reliance on certain commodities. We can build resilience, but we can only build resilience together. We have to move from division to unity and move from operating in silos into partnerships. The Building Canada Act defines projects in the national interest as those which meet 5 criteria. Strengthening Canada's autonomy, our resilience, our security. Providing other economic benefits to Canada. Having a high likelihood of being successfully executed. Contributing to clean development and our environmental objectives, and advancing the interests of Indigenous peoples. Examples of those projects could include highways, railways, ports, new energy, and trade corridors. Key point, there is no list of those projects yet. There's ideas out there. Projects will be proposed by many stakeholders. The provinces have ideas. There will be ideas from the private sectors. And there will be ideas directly from First Nations.
Nothing's moving very quick.
What did you get out of that? I didn't get nothing, other than a lot of words being used. If Ian was here, he would be losing his mind. He'd be saying, the guy needs to speak English, because that was just a lot of words that meant nothing. So no projects, no nothing. That was at the first.
Lots of ideas.
Yeah, lots of ideas. First Nation of Canada, can you feed your family with ideas? Likely not. The First Nations, that was at the First Nations Summit. That's where they're going around hearing from the people. And here's what they had to say about the summit and Carney's speech there.
The summit has just wrapped, and some First Nations chiefs say they were not impressed.
This summit is a political theater.
Our treaties are sacred covenants, not bureaucratic checkboxes.
Participating in this summit would lend legitimacy to an illegitimate process.
We see, and from what we hear, this is a predetermined process. A process that is disrespectful, top-down, and divided Indigenous leaders by privileging some voices over others.
Well, that 2-day.
There you go. Nobody a big fan. First Nations not a big fan of that. Again, he was also asked in that thing there, say from a reporter, say there's a pipeline project you believe is in the national interest, but there's a province like Quebec or BC that doesn't want it. Are you going to push it through anyway? His response? No. There you go.
And that sounds to me more like 13 than 1.
Yeah. And then there's an opinion piece from the Globe and Mail opinion. Carney inherited a fiscal mess, and he's about to make it worse. So, and that's what it looks like. The spending is actually going to be, when we thought Trudeau's spending, I think it was in the $67 billion range, and now it looks like $92 billion deficit.
8% year over year, right?
And then this is Pierre Poilievre put out this tweet. Carney plans to borrow more money this year than any government in Canadian history, even more than Trudeau did during COVID. The debt binge is getting worse, not better. Carney costs more than Trudeau. No wonder core inflation is rising and people can't afford to live. So, and then the National Post with another opinion piece here. New report, well, this is not an opinion piece. New report says Ottawa to blame for higher consumer prices after spending splurge. They definitely always tried to blame it on COVID, tried to blame it on the supply chain, and here it is. The report says the blame rests squarely with the Liberal spending spree.
Well, let's hope we get some accountability.
Let's hope. Put your elbows up or something. Put something somewhere. And then this chart here, that's like kind of a tale of two nations here that's going on right now. This is from the National Bank. An uphill battle for Carney-led Liberals facing the Canadian economy. If you look at the Canadian economy, flat there, whereas the U.S. economy definitely on the uphill climb. And that's been shown over and over and over again.
Yeah, that dip there, that's the oil price drop, right? 2014, and we never came back from it. That huge cliff you go off.
There you go. That's COVID there, then if you're looking in 2020. Oh, and then that's the, yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is a weird one. This is all over the internet here. CTV did the story too. Thousands of Canadians have started receiving invitations to apply to sponsor parents and grandparents, and it's just like we have an overtaxed healthcare system, and now we're going to bring in a bunch of older people.
And older people who never paid into the system as well.
Why not? Hey, why not?
I think there's a reason why most countries prefer with those visas before the age of 35, because then if you're in the country, you're going to contribute
at some point, right?
Hopefully at least 25 years.
Well, not so much. And then this is from Blacklock's here. The number of refugee claimants and illegal immigrants attempting in Canada has fallen sharply since the U.S. Donald Trump took office. And they thought there was going to be a mass kind of like migration to Canada to escape the biggest deportation thing in the U.S. history, but that hasn't really come out to happen here.
Nope.
Border agents counted about 12,185 refugee claimants in the period from January to April, compared to 24,000 same period last year. So that really hasn't materialized.
I wonder if we're too expensive for the refugees now.
They're probably just like, I don't want to go to Canada.
Yeah, let's go the other way.
And then we're going to play this. This supply management is a big thing that's part of the trade problems with Canada and the U.S., and it's also was a problem with the U.K. and then recently even with New Zealand. But we're going to play hear from a dairy farmer and see what he has to say about supply management. We're going to play this clip here.
Hey guys, we're here at Given Rose Farm in southern Ontario. We milk about 260 cows. Right now during the winter months, you milk quite a bit more milk because the feed is very consistent. And as you do a good job, you will produce quite a bit of milk. So, but right now we're over our quota. It's regulated by the government and by the DFO. But the problem is what they don't understand is millions of people look at this milk running away because it's the end of the month. So I dump 30,000 liters of milk. It breaks my heart. I will show you. By the way, this here, Canadian milk, it's $7 a liter. When I go for my haircut, people say, wow, $7, Jerry, for a little bit of milk. I say, well, you have to go higher up because we have no say anymore as a dairy farmer on our own farm because they make us dump it. And no matter how we stand up, so this time I'm going public. I want the people to see the pain that us growers have of 365 days. As a little boy, we grew up on a dairy farm, came from Europe, work, and here we are. This is what's happening.
$200,000 of milk down the drain by that 7 times 30,000 liters dumped.
That's just him. There you go. So there's lots of talk on the supply management stuff, and we're going to hear a lot more on supply management as well. I mean, we talked about the Bloc, Blanchette there wanting to protect that at all costs. So, and here's Melanie Joly, cabinet minister there. She says Canada's ocean supercluster is driving innovation, sustainability, and economic growth. And she's at a roundtable discussion there. She loves the photo op. Melanie Joly, the fan of the photo op.
She's got a pretty face.
There you go. And how much of that is actually government funded, this ocean cluster here? It's about half. Initial 42%. Phase was the government put about 153 million in, and the renewal phase 125 million. So the government has sloshed in 278 million in. Private sector has put in about half of that as well. So another half. So so for a total of 556 million. Again, a lot of the Canadian these things that they brag about. Where's the private investment that's driving Canada forward as opposed to government funding these things, these green slush funds and all that kind of stuff? We need to convince businesses and Canadians to invest in Canada, not the government investing taxpayer dollars and then fritting it away most of the time. How many of the EV plants and battery plants have seen billions of dollars of Canadian investment and failure after failure after failure? And here's an example of not failure is Argentina, the guy, the chainsaw guy, Milei, you know, the chainsaw. I'm sure you've seen the stuff on the internet when he took out the chainsaw, and Elon Musk had the chainsaw too. He did a lot of cuts, a lot of changes in Argentina, and it's starting to really show promise there as well. And they even got a credit upgrade there. Moody's upgraded Argentina's credit rating. So you got a second credit upgrading since his economic policy has been put into place. And the agency raised Argentina's rating 2 notches from CAA3 to CAA1, citing erased currency controls that have stabilized the peso and curbed inflation. And BC here at home, we've had, I think, a couple cuts on our credit rating because of still, we continue to spend and spend and spend.
Well, the libertarian policies do tend to drive economic growth. And it's interesting because he's also pledged to get Argentina onto the US dollar.
There you go. He's a hero for many, and a lot of people on the left view him as a nut. But he seems to be getting the results.
Cutting that government spending.
Another story from Blacklock's here. The Canadian Pension Plan Investment Board keenly interested in seeing more toll roads in Canada. There you go. CPP Investments is the majority owner of the costliest toll road and the Toronto's 407 Express that costs drivers an average of $15 a day. Can you imagine that?
Probably saves you about half an hour sitting still in traffic, though.
$15 a day. I know I was in California.
A lot of people pay for that.
I know I was in California recently, and they have the same type of thing going on in California. They call them, I can't remember the name now off the top of my head, like Super Expressway, the fast track. That's what they call it there. It's $15 to drive along that road. $15. That's a lot. And I know Doug Ford said he was going to do some stuff about it. But the pension board likes it. So, I mean, I imagine they like. Remember when we had the tolls here in the connector here? Or the Coca, you know?
I'm too young for that.
There you go. And they had $10, I think it was $10 to go to Vancouver.
Yeah. Well, this one too, I remember everyone complained about it because it was supposed to be a toll to pay for the road. And then, of course, they're never going to scrap it. And the Highway 407, originally built by a taxpayer in 1999, was leased by the Ontario legislature to private investors as a toll road for 99 years at $3.1 billion. Operators have reported about a 25 to 30% profit margin. Well, something's making money.
There you go. Yeah, just charge people to drive, I guess, right? The toll road reported about $692 million of profit on revenues of $1.7 billion last year. So, like, the post office can't make any money, but the road sure does.
Like I said, something at least.
Maybe the post office should buy the one of the roads.
Maybe. Maybe we should charge people to get their post.
There you go. This is the last story from Blacklocks today. A removal of federal barriers to interprovincial trade will have little impact on new housing construction, says the CMHC. And that follows Minister Freeland's recommendation that Canadians should lower their expectations of Bill C-5. A removal of federal barriers to interprovincial trade will have little impact on new housing construction, and that was from the CMHC. The admission follows Freeland's recommendation for Canadians to lower expectations. There you go.
We're hearing that across the board. Lower your expectations and your elbows.
Lower your elbows. Yeah, there's one thing to lower. And this one here is interesting. This is another scam that's running. So just be careful out there when you're using a cab. Look at this. We're going to play this clip here.
In connection to a taxi fraud investigation in Calgary. After a year-long investigation, the 4 are now facing a total of 64 charges related to 18 incidents of taxi fraud that allegedly defrauded 16 victims of more than $28,000. Between Tuesday, July 9th and Sunday, July 14th, 2024, police say they received 19 reports of taxi frauds believed to have been committed by an organized group of individuals. The case involves the suspects asking people to help them pay for a ride using a credit or debit card, saying the taxi was not accepting cash and utilizing card skimmers to steal their banking information. It's believed similar incidents have occurred in Edmonton, Toronto, and Metro Vancouver. According to Edmonton police, there is reason to believe that the suspects may be in the Edmonton area. Anyone with information is asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers.
I don't like their actions, but I like their outfits.
There you go.
Stylish criminals there.
Another reason to use Uber and not have to use a credit card.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean? Like that giving your credit card out to the where it can be skimmed and scammed and all that kind of stuff. It's getting tougher and tougher.
And even with Uber, there's records. If anything goes wrong, there's proof. You've got the person's license plate.
There you go. And then this is for our Bill C-18 section. This is a story we did. We went out and talked to, they had that Liberal caucus here and their vacation party here. And we asked if they were going to repeal Bill C-18, and they said, you know, they have no intention of repealing it. And this Dan Elvis saying, despite the harm caused to many local media organizations, liberal arrogance will continue to cause harm. They don't listen, they don't learn. Yeah, I mean, it continues. It's like they have their knee in our throat. They have taken away our audience of 200,000 from Facebook and Meta that we earned serving this community for over a decade, and it endangers our community in times of wildfires and that. And they said that the Liberals said they would boycott Meta. And since January, they've spent over $5 million advertising on Meta, saying that Meta is too important for them not to get their message out on there, but not important enough for news organizations to get their message out there. So again, more clownish behavior from the Liberal MPs. That's some international news. You're going to like this one. The UK. Let's listen to Keir Starmer first. There you go. Keir Starmer.
I think it's really important that 16 and 17-year-olds have the vote because they're old enough to go out to work. They're old enough to pay taxes, so to pay in. And I think if you pay in, you should have the opportunity to say what you want your money spent on, which way the government should go. So I'm really pleased that we're able to bring more young people into our democracy and give them the chance to have a say over how their taxes are going to be paid and what they're going to be used for.
Imagine that the left-leaning parties really liking young people, because most people when they're young, they're very left. I was as well, you know, and then reality wakes you up and smacks you in the face and says, well, you know, you got to eat, you got to get a job, you got to do all these things. Yeah. And then so, of course, they probably, why not just lower it to 12?
Yeah.
Why stop at 16?
Yeah, anyone can vote.
And then, yeah, so this is Andrew Coyne that puts it out. If anything, this is the Canadian report. If anything, we should raise it in Canada here. I mean, I think a lot of 16-year-olds aren't. I mean, there's probably a small portion of them that are really into politics, but most people aren't. Young people aren't into politics. They don't get involved in politics until it starts affecting them.
Well, in Canadian politics, they're not going to be exposed to it because it's not on social media.
I mean, most young people are very idealistic. I was when I was younger. I thought, you know, there should be one world government and everything is run by, and everything is fair and everything is free and everything is that. But what's that? Life smacks you around a bit and you're just, okay, so I actually have to work to get money so I can eat. Yeah. There you go. And then this is from CNN here, a clip here talking about, because, you know, they were very anti-Trump. Let's play a little clip here.
There's this new CNN polling out today that says quite a bit. Just 28% of Americans view the Democratic Party favorably. And the context of that is the lowest mark for Democrats in the history of CNN's polling going back to 1992. And for Democrats, they have a lot more work to do to win back favorability within their ranks, within the party, than Republicans do.
Well, that's not shocking to me.
Yeah, they basically lit their party on fire, no different than the NDP has done that here in Canada. I mean, they basically, like, they just shriek and scream about everything, and that doesn't even make sense. And some of the stuff that they've been standing for just makes no sense. And Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, like, wow.
They alienated half their population, calling anyone who was voting Republican racist. Do you expect your popularity to surge after that?
Many Canadians have also called Justin Trudeau, when Trump won, he said that America missed the opportunity, basically called the voters misogynist, homophobic, everything, every is that he could come up with.
Well, and it just completely ignores. A lot of people voted, I think, for Donald Trump because the only other option was Kamala. I'm not sure they voted for him or against the Democrats.
They have made a mess, that's for sure, and it's starting to show up. And here's another guy, got canceled, Stephen Colbert. I used to like Stephen Colbert till he basically became a propaganda machine for the left. And here's this little clip that Stephen Colbert, one of the reasons he likely got canceled. But let's play this clip here.
The vaccine.
get enough. It just gets worse from there. What is a comedian doing promoting the vaccine? What, you know what I mean? Like during this heyday, like, I mean, like, why did they all become political pundits? And, you know, basically, you know, like a lot of these late night talk shows became political pundits and arms of the Democratic Party. Yeah, and that's the news is supposed to always be neutral, and I think we've seen since 2016. Well, it's supposed to be comedy. Well, yeah, but I don't know. Was that funny? Was that funny? I mean, that was meant to convince people to take the vaccine. Yeah. Wonder how John Oliver is going to fare. Some good news out of British Columbia today. David Eby finally got the message, and that came from that letter from the doctors, the U.S. doctors, from all over the United States saying, check your science. And that was the off-ramp for David Eby. We're going to play this small clip here from David Eby, though.
There's a little boy in Alberta, same age as Charlie Pollock, same disease, same treatment. But the difference is the Alberta government's paying for the drug, and his father says the drug's helping manage the seizures. Does it embarrass you that if Charlie Pollock were living in Alberta, she wouldn't be reduced to going to GoFundMe to pay for the drug?
Well, Vaughn, thanks for the question. I mean, this is a really awful case. This is a beautiful child and a family facing a horrific diagnosis. Medical experts are disagreeing about the best course of action. But let me say how inspiring and beautiful it is to see British Columbians, to see a community come together around Charlie and her family to support them in this moment. That's the kind of province this is, and that's a really amazing thing to see. And I'm very grateful for that. We said from the beginning, the minister has said it, I've said it, that politicians should not be the one making decisions about medical care in this province. I believe that very strongly as a fundamental principle. We have a very challenging situation here where we have a disagreement among experts. We received a letter this morning from slightly more than a dozen experts in Batten disease from the United States who wrote to the minister and I, expressing that their perspective on this medication is that it would continue to provide benefit for patients, including for Charlie, that are at the stage that she's at. It's a significant letter. I take it seriously. I know the minister does as well. She's taking it to the committee, and she'll have more to say about it tomorrow.
Well, late last night, Josie Osborne, the minister, called the Pollock family and told them that they would restore the medications government funded to Charlene there. So great news for her. Again, an example, though, of Americans have come to the rescue of Canadians this week, British Columbians and Canadians, twice. Once for that hijacked plane. That was a U.S. fighter jet that came to the rescue of Canada. And again, these doctors came to the rescue of Charlene Pollock and her family. I mean, first it was the sword that showed up, and then the pen showed up. Those doctors, thank God those doctors spoke up, because otherwise, this is an embarrassment for the BC NDP. It is, and people should be infuriated. David Eby's NDP government passed the Health Care Occupations Act, which is giving politicians more power to dictate healthcare. And he's there saying politicians shouldn't be making healthcare decisions. They do it all the time. Your government passed this law that has given crazy powers towards politicians in healthcare. It made the government look very, very bad in this case. It looked very, very bad. When's the last time they've looked good? I don't know, but I mean, it's expensive medication, but it's a child's life. And then again, if most people that have children, if you put yourself in that role where you're having to beg the public to fund your child, it is just absolutely atrocious that it's come to this. And David Eby and Josie Osborne and all need to really take a step back and look at what they've done, because I think everybody knew that this was going to happen at the end, because it's just a bad look, right? And the reporters actually did a really good job. There's quite a few reporters that stayed on this case and pushed on it and pushed on it and pushed on it, because it was so, so heartbreaking. Yeah. And here's a post here from John Rustad, saying that's fantastic news. Obviously, he wants to thank all British Columbians for speaking out, because it is the voices of British Columbians that spoke out, including many of the reporters that stayed on this case, right? So, and then there's a reaction. and from the family there too, right? And they're very, very happy, right? So.
And even if it's only like a 30% chance that it's going to help her, if there's a bit of disagreement, let's still give her that chance.
Yeah,
she deserves it.
It's tough to tell your child that the government doesn't have money for you. Tough look, Premier Eby. Tough look, right?
But he's proud of British Columbians for coming together to fund it.
I mean, he's got to say something, right? And then this is, we're not going to put that up because that was before that happened. And here's some more BC stuff. A news release that the BC Ministry of Tourism explained why staff billed taxpayers nearly $100,000 for helicopter trips in 2024. Why are they using helicopter? They can use instead of using the ferries, because you're always talking about the BC ferries, but the helicopters are obviously faster. But there's Zoom and there's all kinds of team meetings, and like staff flying around with helicopters, right? $100,000 when we're asked to cut our budgets and pay more tax. And then here it is too. This one here from Rob Shaw, a good reporter out there. Everyone else in public service cutting budgets, freezing, hiring, laying people off, but David Eby's office continues to grow and hire, unencumbered by those rules. Josie Osborne's chief of staff, Andrew Cuddy, is now David Eby's new director of policy and delivery. Yeah, that's the next slide you put up. But yeah, sure. And then there's the severance package that was just handed out, $279,000. That's pretty good severance, right?
Yeah, it's more than some people make in like 5 years.
There you go. And then this rumor has been swirling out there that, and this is Mike Harris saying this, it's coming that Ravi Kahlon is going after Eby's job there. And I think there is going to be a leadership question raised on Eby's leadership here. So there you go.
Well, it's sort of like the Liberals. They do need to change face.
Yeah.
Not any hope.
And then there was a big bust there at the Osoyoos border. I used to hang out in the Osoyoos area all the time, but there was the largest cocaine seizure at the U.S. border.
Back in your coke addict days?
I was a Coca-Cola guy, but it was a Canadian citizen trying to bring the cocaine into the Okanagan. And that's what they say, that's fentanyl trade. The fentanyl goes south, and then they swap it for cocaine, and that comes
well, the cocaine's coming from South America usually, right?
So yeah, so they get...
I don't know if we have the climate to make our own.
Yeah, so there you go. This is the largest seizure at the port of entry and represents an estimated 140,000 individual doses. So somebody's going without. There you go.
It's going to be a good weekend. August long weekend's got a bit of a damper on it.
Cocaine, not good for you. Let's move on to markets. Markets. Relatively, again, it's been relatively flat. It's up. Well, the board's all green this morning. The Dow's up. The Nasdaq's up. The Toronto Stock Exchange is up. Everything's green. Everything's good. And just moving around in here. But one of the big things here is the Democrats lost CNN. This is the clip here. The CNN admits that Trump's economy is stronger than expected. We're going to play a little clip here.
Today, some positive news about the economy, even with concerns about the president's tariffs. The Commerce Department says retail sales actually bounced back in June after falling in May. Specifically, they rose 6% last month after a near 1% drop the month before. Economists are obviously closely watching consumer behavior as President Trump's tariffs begin to drive up prices of some goods and services. Separate data out today shows the jobs market also remains resilient as new applications for employment benefits fell for the 5th straight week. CNN Business and Politics today.
It's a tale of two nations, that book, Tale of Two Cities, and we have the American economy that seems to be firing on all cylinders and driving lots of investment capital to the U.S., like cutting regulation, cutting taxation and all that stuff, and the completely different story here in Canada, where we increase regulation and we increase taxation, and the government spends like drunken sailors, and our economy is sputtering and stalling, where theirs is going up. And then a lot of the big name, including the CEO of Home Depot, said that he was against Trump for a while, then all the tariffs. So these things are working. So I mean, it's working for them. And Bitcoin too. That those bills are about to pass. We started the Bitcoin show season 2 yesterday. It should go up today. Scott Deedles and I, we did the Bitcoin show season 1 a while back, and we just started season 2, and we're going to do that. It's going to be on a bi-weekly basis. But Trump signed an executive order to allow the $9 trillion U.S. pension funds to buy Bitcoin. There you go. And lots of corporations are now buying Bitcoin in the U.S. So Bitcoin, again, wind in the sales of Bitcoin. Wind is in the sales, absolutely in the sales. And, you know, it's about 117,000, and it seems to be holding that 100,000 mark very, very well. And that's U.S. dollars. That's not Canadian dollars, right? So in Canadian dollars, it's a lot more, like 160. There you go. And then this is what Canada, again, we talked about a tale of two nations. Canada saw $16 billion capital flee and $84 billion over the last 4 months. And that's we have to cut the regulation. We have to get some projects going. We have to convince Canadians to invest. We're seeing that same thing even in our real estate market. And we're seeing many of the big real estate companies in Vancouver and Toronto lay off staff. Cranes are coming down here in Kelowna as well. Again, that's the BC NDP policies there with when they took away the Airbnb thing here. Most of the condo section was, or across Canada, was investors. And why would they invest when they basically get told what they can and can't do with their property? The environment is not friendly right now for investment capital in Canada, especially in the real estate market. So, and even more bad news here. In one of the mine sites up in the diamond mines, you know, like in northern Canada has, like in the territories, they have some diamond mines. In the Acadie mine, the Burgundy diamond mines at their Acadie mine laid off several hundred workers after halting part of its Acadie operations in northern Canada, adding another blow to the struggling diamond mine industry. And that really has to do with diamonds have been tough slugging with the artificial diamonds, the Moissanite diamonds, all these different things, and the Chinese aren't buying because you can craft. You know, like you see all these young ladies running around with these massive rocks, and those aren't real diamonds, but you know, like a lot of them are very similar to diamonds, right?
Yeah.
But it's actually crashed the diamond market because the diamond market is a very much manipulated market,
well,
like the beers,
right? It's much easier to compress artificially in a lab than it is to go and dig them out. So
for sure. And then so it's really collapsed the price of diamonds, and yeah, so there you go. And we've had, you know, in Kelowna had the diamond mine of fame here, Chuck 50 with the diamond mine. But yeah, no, it's getting tougher and tougher. Record low global diamond prices made that operation uneconomical right now. So
yeah, well, other than aesthetically, I guess diamond's very hard for cutting. What else do we need diamond for?
It's a showpiece. They use it for drilling and different things, but it definitely is one of the biggest things, and that's why De Beers kind of controlled that market forever. And that is, and they artificially controlled it. They would release diamonds into it, and then kind of supply management. There you go. Yeah. And then, and I used to invest in diamond stocks quite a bit, but I got out a number of years ago, 15 years ago or so, because you could see the writing on the wall with what was happening with diamond mines.
Well, and then there's like the Blood Diamond movie, Leo.
And Canada had a little while there. They had, you know, because they had these, you know, like polar diamonds and stuff like that. So they, you know, they had a premium on those because they said they weren't the blood diamonds and that. But
no slave labor.
Tough slugging for the diamond industry for sure, especially when you can go get like a 3-carat diamond for next to nothing, right?
Price, yeah.
But you know what? I've also seen on the resale value, like you used to be able to hawk your diamond ring. The resale value on those fake diamonds is almost zero.
So maybe it's time to buy low and propose to your partner.
And this is the MNP, which actually, you know, I have somebody from MNP coming in next week. We're going to do an interview. But this shows you some of the stuff, the hurdles that Canadians are facing right now in our economy. Again, the government needs to get out of its own way and drive investment and stop creating more regulations to fight off their past regulations. This is 42% of Canadians now are close to insolvency. The report being $200 or less away from financial insolvency every month. That's 42%. That's a huge number. That's crazy. And 27% that say they're already financially insolvent, and 44% are concerned about their current debt level.
And all these mortgages keep renewing, I think we're just going to see those numbers go higher and higher.
Yeah, Conservatives over 64% are concerned. We talked about this, I think, yesterday, that interest rates are, you know, like they're talking that they're probably going to stay flat for a while as opposed to dropping down. Many Canadians are begging for relief and lowering of the interest rates as their mortgages come for renewal, right? And there's a lot of households feeling pressure, right? 36% of Canadians are feeling significant financial pressure. And it's like, if you're living in Toronto right now, it's $15 a day to drive, plus then you got to put gas in that has tax on it.
And then parking downtown, let me tell you, that's not cheap.
Probably cheaper to stay home.
Oh, well,
there you go.
At least Toronto, though, they've got a pretty good public transit. So I think it's award-winning. Take the bus.
Take the bus. There you go. Andrew's advice, take the bus.
Better for the environment.
Doesn't work very well in other parts of Canada when there's no bus, but Toronto, sure. Into our technology and transportation section, here you go. Tesla filed a patent for manufacturing paint-free vehicle body panels, revealing a new way to make car panels. Paint costs a lot of cars. And obviously the Cybertruck has no paint. It's a stainless steel body, but that's obviously expensive. But they're going to infuse the color into the panels. Pretty slick, eh?
Yeah.
There you go.
Efficient.
Efficient.
Elon's nothing if not
and if you scratch it, it's the same color all the way through.
Oh, that's handy for me. I tend to get a little
scratcher.
bit of
there you go.
About once a month. That parkade here is not my friend.
More of a touch parker?
Yeah. Well, my boat, it's like a boat that sea brings. So.
There you go. So yeah, touch parker, just like bump. There we go. We're right there now.
Just little bits.
And this is Waymo now makes its next move. There's Elon Musk's in the gray there. Elon Musk always the comedian in the gray, and then Waymo, which was in the darker blue, now expanded their area. So the race is on for autonomous vehicles in the United States.
Exciting.
Exciting world. And this is a really cool story. This is absolutely cool. XAI, which is another one of Elon's companies, continues to lead the way in cutting-edge technology. They've commenced construction on the world's largest ceramic membrane bioreactor. Sounds cool, right? To sustainably supply 13 million gallons per day of cooling water to the Colossus supercomputer. That's the one that runs Grok. And so they need this water, but they're not using potable water, that drinking water. They're using sewer water.
Why not?
So there you go.
Why not?
So this colossal water recycling plant will use directly piped effluent from the nearby Memphis, Tennessee municipal wastewater management system to produce high-quality cooling tower makeup water and to allow the Colossus supercomputer to operate with zero impact on area potable water supplies. Because there was a complaint there with Meta's factory that people weren't having water in their taps because Meta was stealing all the water. Well, not stealing, taking.
Well, that's the thing with AI is we need power.
Need power and water now. Yeah. And that's why Alberta is such a great place for a supercomputer setup, is because the cold weather, northern Alberta I'm talking about, northern Alberta, cheap energy with LNG.
Well, and there's plenty of free space up there.
And there's a field waiting for a supercomputer up there. So there you go. And then people are saying, oh, we got to slow this down. We better slow this down. They better take another look because China commits $100 billion to AI. And the U.S. schools are racing to respond. This race is on. You know, the space race back in the 60s with the Russians? Well, the AI race is on, and China's not going to slow down. Russia's not going to slow down. So we don't have a choice, really. So that China's massive AI investment is prompting U.S. educators and policymakers to rethink innovation and curriculum to retain competitiveness. And NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang says that this is a must-win for the United States. He says U.S. leadership in AI depends on drawing global talent. So that's the attraction money. We've seen that with Meta, coughing up $100 million. Salary. That doesn't even include the bonuses for the guy that they stole from Apple. $100 million. That's not bad, right?
No, not bad.
And Elon Musk, he's a busy guy. He's working on new ways to make creative viral videos fast and called Imagine. So that's Grok there. So if you're one of those people that scroll internet all day long or the Instagram or whatever, most of the stuff's going to be AI generated.
Yeah.
And here's Grok, and I didn't put the video in here, but here's Grok showing off how tough he is.
Got a gold chain.
And smoking a cigar. Someone should mention to him that there's health concerns with that.
Yeah, bit of a feminine torso too. I don't know if it's a him or a her.
I like the necklace. He's kind of got the same chain you got going on there. Look at the chain you got there going. Yeah, see? You and Grok.
You've got how many chains going there? It's your color.
Health. And we talked about this yesterday. So that cane sugar is a switch from the corn fructose, right? So that's what, supposedly it's better.
Much better for you, yeah.
I'm going to say not drinking it, period. It's probably the best case scenario, right? But
when's the last time you had a Coke?
It's been a while. It's been a while. And I've had my share for the rest of my life, I think, when I was doing 5, 6 a day.
Got your quota?
5, 6 a day, right? But I only liked drinking it when it was fizzy, though, right?
Yeah.
With ice and a little bit of lime or lemon. And about halfway done, I would throw that one away and get another one.
Yeah. Have you ever had Mexican Coke?
I have.
That stuff's good. I feel like that's
all around the world. The carbonation,
sugar, so maybe it's gonna taste
it is.
better.
It actually is. It's true. it was, I think, mainly the U.S. that was using the
well, their food laws have been
the fructose,
abysmal.
right? Because the corn.
That's with the RFK, maybe that's part. I wonder if RFK actually had a piece in that switch. Yeah.
Yeah, he did for sure. And then we're into our serious section. We got quite a bit here in our serious section. Britain's lowering its voting age to strengthen democracy. There you go. There's the polling station.
The other thing about 16-year-old Brits is I don't think it's a sweeping overgeneralization to say a lot of them are more interested in drinking than politics.
And this thing broke the internet. This CEO and the HR boss there got caught at a Coldplay concert. You know, when they do the kiss cam that goes around. I'm sure you saw this out there, but yeah, so they got busted at this because right away he like dropped down and then she ran away and then and this thing is all over the internet. Even CTV played up this story, like just like this. I'm sure they would like some privacy at this point. And
well, everyone loves reality TV.
And then Coldplay put out this thing. Starting with our next show, we're introducing camera-free audience sections for people with their side pieces. So if you're going to go cheat on your wife, you can go to that section. So then people know that if you're in that section, it's probably not a good time, right?
That's true.
And then here's this other one for this little thing. Mom, how did we get so rich? Your dad hugged an HR lady at the Coldplay concerts, and I got 50% of that from the divorce.
Poor woman.
And then this is just somebody putting out CTV, like when they put out the thing, it's like the weather. I mean, look at that. You'd think that the world's on fire. It's like 23.
Yeah, it looks like a magma pile.
Just like, oh no, the world's coming to an end. Good job, CTV. Hey, good job, CTV. Hey, 23 degrees, and it looks like the world has gone scorched. And Elon Musk has come up with a way to make planes stealth. Cover them with Epstein's list. Nobody will ever see them. Hey?
God.
Oh, we got a clip here for you too. This is a young girl that refused to rescue a drowning person. You got to listen to her thought process behind this.
Is there a fart involved?
No.
A lifeguard, Shiatali, reportedly watched a guest drown because she was tired of saving her.
Yes, ma'am, I called y'all for a reason. So a lady was drowning, I didn't help. I'm a lifeguard. But the thing is, I helped her the first time. She was in a wave pool. She was sitting there drowning. We did our thing. We did our big one. We jumped in. We saved her. She didn't say thank you or nothing. She'd rather sit there and fucking cry than to thank us. I feel like that's rude. So yeah, the next time we went to the other area after my break, she was drowning again. I looked at her, winked at her, and I started looking the other way. I'm the only lifeguard in the area. She at the hospital, they said she made it, so what's the problem? If she would have said thank you before, we wouldn't even have this problem. And then my manager told me something, you got to be more wise. I never even grew wisdom teeth, so how am I supposed to be wise? How do y'all expect me to be wise? Janet, she need to go back to Publix or something. I don't understand. So then I try to go up there to go swimming. It's the reason I called y'all, because they won't allow me into the area talking about I'm a danger to others. I don't work there no more. Let me come have some fun. Trying to swim. Now, I can swim. The lady was big enough to learn how to, she could have at least floated naturally. But no, she want to sit there and drown. I don't care. And I feel like it need to be on the news. They are prejudiced. They don't like my skin color. Because they like Caucasians, they like black people, but I'm kind of yellow like the orange man in office. And that's why I called y'all. I got more to say too.
This is not supposed to be funny, but this girl just does not care.
Now let's get to today's weather report.
I think she said cautious instead of Caucasians there. But you know what? Honestly, if the woman drowned once, why is she going back in the wave pool? She might be fool of the day, the one who went back in.
It'd be tough to take fool of the day from this girl.
I like her. Honestly, I like her. Use your manners with your lifeguards, or they may not.
And then Elizabeth Warren, I was going to play the clip, but I can't even listen to Elizabeth Warren most of the time. But she says that she's all for the guy running for mayor in New York there. He's all for government-run grocery stores. And when have you ever heard of the government doing something successfully? You know what I mean? Just like, Ronald Reagan said it best. When the government says we're here to help, run. Because it typically doesn't help. And that's the same thing they did to us with Bill C-18. This is going to help local independent journalism. No, it's not. It's absolutely the other. It's actually the opposite. So government-run grocery stores, like,
I don't know. Isn't that like a food stamp sort of?
Well, no, supposedly they're going to regulate. Like, I think Russia had government-run grocery stores. You were lined up for blocks to get bread.
Yeah.
There's some government-run grocery stores. I think Venezuela had them too. So if that's what you want, if that's the future you're looking for, you can go to those places. And I think Russia's even fixed that problem, right? But there's other nations in the world that still have you lining up for food. That's our show for today, unless you have something else.
Nope.
No? There you go. That's our show for today. That's our show for the week, actually.
There we go. I did it.
You did it. You made the week. There you go. And then we're back next week, and Ian's still off for another week. And then we're back for one more week together.
And then the following week, you're supposed to have the trade agreement in.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens.
We shall see.
We shall see. I mean, at some point, the rubber has to hit the road. Those long speeches by Carney that say nothing, you know.
Yeah, well, there's a lot
it's kind of like what we're doing right now. A lot of nothing, just a lot of talking. Right?
Yeah.
We're going to have an economic meeting about the economy, and then the economy is going to sound like a little bit like Kamala Harris, right? Where the present is kind of like the future just not becoming of the future of now. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Well, that sounded like Carney.
Anyway, that's our show for today. Like, subscribe, share, and we appreciate you watching. And that's it for today, and we'll see you on Monday. Thanks for watching.
We don't just report the news. We live here too. We're your neighbors, bringing you stories that matter to all of us. No government funding, no outside influence. Kelowna Now, local, independent. News you can trust.